Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner. And we're still looking at a couple of news articles, some interesting things that we've been seeing. But one of the bits that I think is quite important to maybe just highlight and talk about is Gartner actually released a report not too long ago about the AI adoption gap. Right. So what they're basically talking about is that the AI innovation race that is happening between providers is escalating at such a rate, right? If you think about where we were a couple of years ago with just, machine learning was the thing. And then it was neural networks were becoming more available. Then we started moving into Gen AI, and ChatGPT like really brought that to the front. And now we in that kind of agentic AI is the next big thing, right? So this curve of innovation is becoming very, very steep. Beyond that, there's, things like ambient AI and neurosymbolic AI and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? And this is where it's trending. It's just, really exploding, quite exponential. And the challenge that we're seeing in enterprises and in the businesses is that the adoption curve is not matching that provider innovation curve. It's taking a lot longer for organizations to actually adopt that rate of innovation that is happening there. And this is really because the rate of change, rate of implementation that an organization can sustain to make these things work and return value is not necessarily always the same rate as what the innovation is happening at. So what does this mean? Well, this is just a thinking, we might be seeing a AI correction in the market looming or happening because of this, right? In the end, supply and demand still rules in these factors, and those who can adopt will, and those who can't obviously will be lagging or will be pushing those timelines out. So the return on value of this innovation at some point, it's got to be corrected. That curve has to slow down at some point, or there's going to be some kind of bubble effect that is forming with this, and the bottom will fall out from this. Now, I'm not trying to kind of talk fear into anything, but you have to start considering the reality and the facts that we're seeing out there. So how do we make it simpler for people to adopt AI, organizations specifically? Well, that's why we talk about what we're doing with our Oxide cloud environment by allowing people to rent GPUs at a South African rate, something that makes sense. And also in the near future, let's probably say from recording of this, probably in the next 3 to 6 months, we are definitely looking at bringing out some form of AI Workbench to the Oxide cloud as well. So we definitely want to allow people to enable them to make use of this innovation, because that gap is becoming ever bigger between what organizations can do and what's out there. So have a look at what's happening. Be aware of what's happening out in the market. That AI gap is getting bigger, or the adoption gap is getting bigger, and there might be a correction to this in the near future. So for today, that's all I have to say about AI adoption and the gap that it's creating. Have a good day.